Say the name Madonna and lots of words come to mind, like scandalous, salacious, rebellious. But now add traditional. Traditional? Well, yes, because Madonna is reinventing herself again. And not just on stage, as you'll hear. Over her flamboyant career, Madonna has shed her clothes many times, but rarely has she revealed herself as she does tonight in an exclusive interview with my colleague Cynthia McFadden.
Don't just stand there, let's get to it. Strike the pose, there's nothing to it.
She is perhaps the most famous woman in the world. She has certainly been one of the most controversial. Remember, Like a Virgin? And her numerous run-ins with the Catholic Church. She's back on a worldwide tour. Little surprise, she's full of surprises. We sat down for an exclusive interview with the master of self-invention herself, Madonna. What do you want that you don't have?
I want to be more liberated from my ego. Less concerned with what people think of me.
Well, are you concerned what people think of you?
Less than I used to be, but hey, there's a long way to go. I mean, you know, once you enter the popularity sweepstakes, which you do when you become famous, whether you're a singer or an actress or a model or a journalist, a TV journalist, whatever, you know, you enter the world of, you know, how am I doing? How am I doing? How's my rating? How's my, you know, how do I look? Where am I in the 50 most beautiful people, you know, poll?
You have done a really good job, though, I think, of making the rest of us think you don't care very much what other people think.
I'm a good actress. I mean, I'm a rebel, and, you know, that's the stance of a rebel. The stance of a rebel is, you know, I can't say bad words on TV, but, you know, I don't care what you think. But if it's just for the sake of upsetting the apple cart, you're not really helping people. You turn the apple cart over, and then what? Then everyone's looking at an apple cart that's turned over, and they're like, well, now what do I do?
So you've done a little of that.
God,
just for the sake of it.
Just for the sake of it.
Want to mention anything in particular?
No. I think everybody knows. I mean, let's not state the obvious. You know, I did spend, you know, at least a decade taking my clothes off and being photographed, saying bad words on TV, and, you know, that sort of thing.
Like her sex book from 1991, most of which we can't show you, and her erotica period. But was that just for the sake of it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
I was looking for deeper meaning, Madonna.
I know, well, I was looking for deeper meaning too, and I thought I was liberating mankind. But like I said, I wasn't really offering an alternative. So.
Now you're depressing me.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I don't regret it, but it's just, you know, I mean, everybody takes their clothes off now. And then what? I mean, you know, to a certain extent, I was saying, look, you know, why do men only get the job of objectifying women in a sexual way? I want to do it too. There was an element of that, but there was also an element of being an exhibitionist and saying, look at me, you know. It wasn't that altruistic. So I can admit that.
And that's a first from the woman who has always said she didn't need to explain or apologize.
I choose to look at myself as like a person who's now awake, and a person who's now trying to be part of the order, not the chaos of the world.
But do you think you were ever part of the chaos?
Certainly in my personal life, I was part of the chaos. I just ripped through relationships in a willy-nilly, completely selfish. What's in it for me? Okay, this isn't serving me anymore. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Lots of chaos. I think I brought a lot of chaos to people's lives because of my selfish behavior. And that adds up.
When I was very young, nothing really mattered to me but making myself happy.
Just for the record, her conga line included Sean Penn, Dennis Rodman, and Warren Beatty. Madonna says the ego that has served her so well in the past
I looked into your eyes and the world came tumbling down.
is now undergoing a tough reevaluation.
We're all controlled by our ego. We are all slaves to our ego. Everything we do is about our ego.
Guilty as charged.
Absolutely, and so am I, and so are we all. And if I didn't have a huge ego, I wouldn't be here. But at a certain point, you have to understand that it is, you know, it's your dog, and it's like, are you walking the dog, or is the dog walking you?
I'm fascinated by something you said recently. I don't want people to dress like me anymore. Now I want them to think like me. Dress like Britney Spears and think like me, and everything will be fine.
Yes, well, you know, there was a time in my life when people did dress like me and wore things I wore, but I mean...
A lot of them were at the concert last night.
Yeah, but they were still dressing like me from 1985, so... yeah, I mean, I'm not flattered by that so much anymore.
So if someone were to think like Madonna today,
yeah,
how would they be thinking?
They'd be thinking a lot.
She is thinking, she says, about how to make herself a better person and the world a better place. She attributes her new philosophy to the study of 13th century Jewish mysticism called Kabbalah. Kabbalists believe in immortality, and also that you can overcome death and illness by how you think and how you behave. Is it true you have a new name of Esther?
Well, let's say I don't go by the name of Esther, but yes, that is my Hebrew name. Yep.
How do you get it? Did you pick it?
I chose it, yeah.
Why?
I was named after my mother. My mother died when she was very young of cancer, and in the metaphysical world, I wanted to attach myself to another name. So, this is no way a negation of who my mother is. So I read about all the women in the Old Testament, and I love the story of Queen Esther. She saved the Jews from annihilation.
The courtesan who becomes queen.
Yeah.
Esther apparently has a few ideas about how Madonna should behave.
My Kabbalah teacher, one of them, used to say to me, when in doubt, act like God. And then you think, well, what does that mean? You know, it's like, well, what describe God? God would be compassionate, unconditional, all-giving, all-loving. So when in doubt, behave that way. You'll never go wrong.
How are you doing in that regard?
I'm getting better. Yeah, I mean, I'm a very judgmental person. I mean, I always have been, and, you know, I see people, I put labels on them, I put them in boxes, they behave badly, and I immediately want to say they're a jerk. But in Kabbalah, you learn that, you know, you never know about people.
The study of Kabbalah has become hip in some circles. Celebrities like Demi Moore and Britney Spears are said to be followers too, who wear a red string bracelet on their left wrist. It's said to be a protection against the evil eye. The red bracelet?
Yes.
Do you have it with you?
Yes, it's under my watch.
You're a little self-conscious.
I'm a little bit irritated that people think that it's like some celebrity bandwagon that I've jumped on. I'm very serious about it. It's true, Paris Hilton did come to the Kabbalah Center once because her parents brought her, and they wanted to help her, and they were desperate. And suddenly, Paris Hilton studies Kabbalah. I mean, that's what happens, and people, you know, they don't know the whole story.
Her study of Kabbalah has been the inspiration for a series of children's books. The third, Yaakov and the Seven Thieves, will be released next week and is based on an 18th century Ukrainian folktale. Dedication in this book is to naughty children everywhere?
Yes. Yeah. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lesson in all the children's books, but I think it's really just the idea that even the naughtiest person in the world, big or small, has the capability to do something good in the world and to offer something good to the world. And there's lots of children who like to identify with themselves with being naughty, so.
Are your children naughty sometimes?
Oh, yeah. Most of the time. Yeah. I would be a bit frightened if they weren't.
How about you?
Yes, of course. I'm naughty child number one.
So let's talk about the tour.
Okay.
The name. Reinvention.
You don't need diamond rings or 18-karat gold.
You have spent the last 20 years denying that you were reinventing yourself.
Well, because I felt that it trivialized what I did, and people would say, oh, she's just reinvented herself. And by the way, it's not that easy. I mean, because it requires investigation. It requires work. So I've just reflected what I've been influenced by, so you could call that reinvention, or you could call that evolution.
Or maybe even integration. But call it what you will, the concert is partly a retrospective.